WLEA.
Welcome back to the Amy McManus Show on AM 1480 WLEA. I did stop by that table with the guy with the venison and the sausage and the jerky. Very good stuff. You really should check it out. A little back on this healthcare thing. Actually, it was said in the previous show about everybody's all excited because insurers are going to be required to begin providing healthcare coverage to their children with pre-existing illnesses, as well as the age, increasing that age. We already have it here in New York State to 26, so your insurance coverage will take care of your children until they're 26. However, America's Health Insurance Plans, which is a big insurance lobbying group, as well as the Vice President for Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Florida, are all saying that the way they read the bill, that it's being misrepresented. They're saying that the way they are reading it, insurers will be allowed to reject coverage for children in some cases with those pre-existing conditions, as well as in some cases where they are over 18 or over 21. The Nick Pappas from Health and Human Services says that to ensure there is no ambiguity on this point, he says the Secretary of HHS is preparing to issue regulations next month, making it clear what these terms mean. So, in other words, they're going to have another panel, little consultation, little group meeting to figure out why it's perceived as vague and iron it out to make it a little more clear. Also, I know we have we have several tanning salons in Hornell. Did you know that immediately with the signing of this bill, tanning salons are going to start charging customers a 10% tax? So all those nice little small businesses in town, just trying to make ends meet, run their little business, they're going to have a 10% tax onto their business, which they will then pass on to us as consumers. Why? You can guess why. It's not healthy. So they're going to take care of us by making us pay that tax. Also in the news this past week, the CBO has said that President Obama's 2011 budget is going to generate $10 trillion in deficits over the next 10 years, an entire trillion larger than they had previously projected. So I don't know how we come to these conclusions that the health care reform bill is deficit neutral. It just amazes me. A new poll by Fox News says that 79% of registered voters believe that an economic collapse is still possible. 79%. 84% of them are Republicans, 80% independent, and 71% of Democrats all agree that the worst may not be over. I didn't think Democrats watched Fox News. I thought they were all just, a bunch of racist, homophobic, hate-mongering rednecks. But apparently they do. And apparently all the Democrats also are into brick throwing, as we've seen. The Louise Slaughter's office up in Rochester, actually her office in Niagara Falls, she claims a brick was thrown in, and then headquarters in Rochester also had some rocks thrown into it. And this guy in Alabama is taking credit for it. Gotta love the internet. Gotta love these bloggers in their basements, right? Guy named Mike Vanderboe had actually put on his blog, which apparently he has quite a couple thousand followers, that he wants those of us who are opposed to health care reform to just start throwing bricks into offices. Nice guy. Way to go. The thing is about the brick throwing, though, one of the stories that comes out of Seattle Times reported that Representative Driehaus had a rock thrown into his office, and it was all over the news, and it was all over Seattle Times, and AP picked it up, and it was all this big deal. The problem, though, his office is on the 30th floor. So we can see that story is obviously completely false. Also out of Seattle, the mother of a Ballard High School student is really upset. The health center on campus, this is at a high school, facilitated her daughter's abortion during school hours without her consent, of course. The mother, who only identifies herself as Jill, according to Seattle Times, said that the clinic had to keep the information confidential. It's part of the rules, the rules governing these health centers at high schools. She says she signed a consent form figuring that if her daughter needed an aspirin or some allergy medication or a Band-Aid, that's what she was giving them permission for. She says she certainly did not give them permission to take her daughter out of school during school hours to an abortion clinic and have an abortion. The problem with this, of course, is that this poor woman doesn't realize this is pretty much the law of the land in many states. Only about a quarter of the states in this country have parental consent laws regarding abortion or any kind of prevention in place to keep school nurses and school health centers from just, doing what they want. She says she had no idea that this was in existence. She says she's going to become an advocate for keeping these kind of things from happening in the future. At any age in the state of Washington, an individual can go and get an abortion. Doesn't matter if she's 17 or 11. She does not need her parents' consent. Even locally here at the local schools, my daughter cannot even just take an Advil in her pocket to school to take it for a headache. I have to write a special letter giving her permission to do that. But if she needed some condoms or birth control pills or wanted to go get an abortion, apparently they would feel free to do that without my consent. So this woman, Jill, feels like her rights have been really stripped away. Just wait, Jill, wait until we get the community health centers, which will certainly offer all of those things to our young people without our consent. And to cap it all off, the cherry on top will be using our tax dollars to pay for it. More locally back here in New York State, Andrew Cuomo supposedly has a 40-point lead over Rick Lazio, and of course even a larger lead over Democrat-turned-Republican Steve Levy. I think he's going to pretty much back out of the picture pretty quickly here. I don't think he's going anywhere. This was from a poll from Siena College Research Institute of registered voters. They claim they prefer that Cuomo run for governor rather than for re-election as Attorney General. Voters are divided on whether he needs to make his intentions known now or if he still has time to wait. Another interesting part of that poll, 5% of voters say they believe everything Governor Patterson has to say. 5%. 50% say they believe some of it, and 20% said they believe very little. 12% said they believe nothing that comes out of the governor's mouth. The only thing about this poll, that was only 810 people. I'm not sure that's a big enough sampling. This was taken on March 22nd. Also in that poll, 50 to 41% margin support allowing grocery stores to sell wine in wine coolers, and apparently legalizing marijuana. Those numbers have increased a bit as well. You're listening to the Amy McManus Show.